What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today, and we are doing another career sim, this time of the #1 overall pick, Joe Burrow. I was going to do Justin Herbert, and I think he will most likely be the next one unless I decide to do Jordan Love as a Packers fan. Definitely not any bias there, definitely not. But we're going to see if Joe Burrow is the guy, or that's it. That's or. Just or. Michael Orr. Of course, we gave him superstar development because I think in the game he definitely will start out as a superstar, as the #1 overall pick, of course. And then, 22, probably should be 23. He's actually really old, isn't he? He's like a dinosaur, I'm pretty sure. But if there's one thing you can do for me, besides, of course, liking and subscribing and follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, and, follow the twitch.tv/Jeromepkr, the second channel PKR plays. Okay, besides that, is let me know who you guys want to see the most. I really would be curious, as I think Herbert would be very high on the list for me. Simmons kind of up there as well, I suppose. And then Jordan Love, I think, is one of the most intriguing ones. Even, looking outside, looking in from the out, that's the phrase. I think it's an interesting one because obviously that's been kind of the talk of the town, is what's the whole Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers relationship. But enough of that. This is the Joe Burrow show. And if you guys didn't watch the last one, the hell is wrong with you? You trying to get fought in these streets by me, the ultimate fighting man himself. But if you haven't watched that, basically we're going to go through the entire career of Joe Burrow, whether he stays as a Bengal or not. We have been looking at the renegotiations for Joe Burrow himself. Not for Joe Burrow. The player in focus themselves, we'll kind of see. But if Joe Burrow is clearly like a beast and doesn't get re-signed, the whole series kind of, it goes away. It's kind of stupid, So we're not going to control much at all, basically, but we're going to talk about things very uneducatedly, as usual. We don't know anything we're talking about these days. But, hey, let me know what you guys think. How many Super Bowls is Joe Burrow going to win? Last one wasn't super successful. I'd like to see Joe Burrow win one. I think if he is the guy, he's a one Super Bowl man. I really do. You can call that bad, but honestly, right now, not super. Well, 8-8's not bad. Going from the #1 overall pick to, middle of the pack isn't terrible. Joe Burrow with a decent season. Rushing, Joe Mixon. A lot of Joes around here now. Pretty solid season. Receiving, a little disappointing, can't lie. Wait, for a second I was like, did they actually draft T? Because I was thinking, is that really on the top of their needs? I would have, best available, obviously, but offensive line is kind of an issue. Speaking of that offensive line, how did they perform? Probably better than they will in real life, honestly, if we're being truly transparent. Let's see Offensive Rookie of the Year. Please, Joe. This is all we want. Yeah, boy. Joe Burrow with the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. That is the biggest thing you could ever win, except for a picture of my parents. Super Bowl is between the Ravens and the Packers. Not the most far-fetched thing in the world. I could see it. Ravens win the Super Bowl. It would be a lot higher score than that. I don't think the Packers, in their history, will ever be good at stopping mobile quarterbacks. It's just a curse of ours. To be fair, it's not easy for any team, really. But for us specifically, it's a curse. Okay, it's a simple curse. Not very simple. It's just a curse. Let's take a look at this draft class that's likely to be disappointing. I was about to say likely to be, maybe not as disappointing as we thought. They go for an outside linebacker. Is this guy a coverage linebacker? No, he's a pass rusher. He's got about 15,000 traits. The development probably going to be star or superstar. He is... Okay, he's superstar X Factor, and I will show you guys that we didn't, force any devs. I'm pretty sure... No, it's going to be really embarrassing in a minute if it actually doesn't work. Let's see. If we go back and make him an X Factor, I believe it shows him as an X Factor. Yep, see? Hey, I just proved it. Now, it's very weird to show, we kind of did just kind of cheat, but it's, normal development. That guy looked like he had a lot of potential. But yeah, you could see we didn't cheat or anything like that. What about these guys? LaFleur. Oh, what an interesting name you got there. Any of these guys maybe hidden? I got a couple of potential guys that could have been hidden. The first pick, really, really, really good. And the rest, kind of meh. The DT was decent, just the dev sucks. Maybe a future star on the team, you never know. This season, 6-10 for the Bengals. Joe Savior Burrow, more yards, less touchdowns, more picks, I believe. Joe Mixon, though, he seems to be the real deal. T. Higgins with a very big increase in production, surprisingly, because he's still fighting with Tyler Boyd and hell, still fighting with A.J. Green. Offensive line-wise, a little bit better this year as well. Defensive, maybe Lucas was a baller. He had the most on the team, but it's not saying much. 7 sacks with the rest of the team, just yikes. I mean, that's pretty garbage. I'm just going to be honest about it. Don't really care about awards because I don't even think we would have won any. Maybe Lucas wins Defense Rookie of the Year. At the end of the day, what is looking at it even going to do anyways? Either he gets the XP or he doesn't. Chicago going against the Cleveland. That's English. 30-foot. So Chicago wins a Super Bowl. Let's take a look at any potential dev-ups. Highly doubt any. Joe Mixon probably became superstar last season, as I believe he starts as star, right? Yikes! AJ Green is garb. Kinda. I'm sorry. I like AJ Green, but geez, that's brutal. Doesn't look like any sort of dev-ups on defense. Joseph sitting back up. He doesn't make sense to start just yet. Maybe next season. It also looks like, what's his name? The left guard, Dunlap, either left or retired. But that's kind of not my problem. Let's go to the draft, see how they do with potentially a top 5 pick here. All right, draft recap. With pick number 8, they take Mr. Arthur Fields, a strong safety. I'm trying to think of the team's needs. I mean, I know DB's been a need, specifically the safety position, who only star, has been a bit of a need for the Bengals over the years, but I don't know if it's pick 8 worthy. I still think you need to go offensive lineman. That left guard, not terrible at all, but normal. This guy, not terrible at all, but normal. Oh, here you go. Timmy Henry, hidden development. He is 23, but lots of upside. What is that development looking like? Mr. Timmy is a star. One of the first gems we've seen so far, really just in this series in general. Obviously, it's only the second episode, so what do you expect? But not terrible. Not terrible. You got 2 hidden dev guys and 2 other guys that could be, potential stars. You never know. We are headed to the playoffs. Will we actually be in them anytime soon is the question. We go 8-8, so 8-8's not terrible. It's definitely a step forward. Joe Burrow, potentially his best season. That's another good step. Joe Mixon, touchdowns are down a little bit, but, backup was decent. Receiving, I will say, not super great. David Njoku is apparently on the team, so they must have signed him in free agency. Offensive line-wise, Timmy Henry is a starter. 1,041 snaps, only 4 sacks allowed. Not bad at all. Jonah Williams, not super great on his side. Sack totals, apparently Zach Bond was traded for, obviously on the older side in the terms of his rookie contract, so I guess he just didn't work out for them. Lucas, kind of a meh from me. Linebackers picks with number 3, Wilson number 1 there. I don't think that's probably how his name is spelled, but yeah, I don't know. People spell their names however the hell they want to. Once again, I don't think we would have had a single award win. Maybe best QB for Joe Burrow, but ultimately, if it doesn't lead to a dev up, it doesn't really matter that much anyways. The classic matchup of this the Super Bowl Giants and the Super Bowl Patriots, and the Patriots finally get their revenge. Let's go on to free agency week 1 to see what the team, maybe potential dev ups for the players that actually did remain. Joe Burrow still not X Factor, however, 90 overall or whatever he may be. Obviously, there might be morale. No, there isn't a morale. He's 26, 90 overall. I think he'll probably peak at about a 93, 94, but that's still really good. Defensively, didn't really see any dev-ups at all. DT probably needs to be replaced, so Geno Atkins, if they can afford it, I think should honestly be on his way out. What is his actual... I don't know why I went here. To be fair, I was looking to see how much it would cost to cut him, but here we are now. I mean, he's okay, but he's really not that great, so if they can cut him, save some money, and maybe sign a new free agent, I think ultimately that should be their main goal, which they can do so. I'm going to do that for them, as Joseph was a pretty high pick for him, like pick 18 in the second round, and he's got potential, 77 overall. Cornerback definitely needs to be something they think about, unless they go maybe start Von Bell again and then move Mr. Fields over there, because in fairness, he actually is kind of built for the cornerback spot. 6'2", great man coverage, pretty solid speed, can get the job done there, great hands. Maybe should move him down a corner. I'm kind of thinking about it now. Looking at the free agent recap, they paid 2-year, $15 million for Logan Stenberg. Not terrible. And then Jason Kelce, a pretty good signing. I don't think the team's quite ready just now, but it's better than not going for anyone, and they didn't overpay anyone, so not bad, and we will sim the draft. All right, look at their draft. First glance looked pretty good, and that's why we say first glance, normal development. They get a cornerback who's a bit slow and a bit normal development. They get a right guard who's a bit decent and also a bit normal development. That had some potential. And then there it went as soon as we clicked A on it. All right, so after that draft, I don't know how outside of the 2 players they got, if they got any other free agents, I don't know how that works, but I think they only signed the 2, which weren't terrible. Probably don't need a right guard after they just drafted a bunch of people, which is ironic because the signing came first. Offensive line, left tackle, right tackle look decent. Left guard should be a long-time guy. Tight end and Njoku, I would keep him around forever if you could. Burrow, Mixon, Higgins, those are the 3 main offensive players besides David that you would want to look to keep. Tyler Boyd's not terrible. 27 years old, though. If he doesn't get superstar or better, is going to start regressing rather soon. And then you look at defensive side of things, definitely some players you want to see develop more. But Wilson, kind of young, 23. Zach Bond, probably 24. He is. And then we moved Fields to corner because they put Von Bell at the starter anyways. And Fields actually becomes the best corner on the team, ironically enough. So maybe a playoff berth here. It really should be. I don't know if it will be, but it should be. And another season, another disappointing one. We have not went over 500 yet. Joe Burrow, tragically average on that. Well, maybe not tragically, but Madden, tragically average. Joe Mixon, above average as usual. Higgins, meh, I guess. Offensive line performance, definitely better, but still offensively didn't play super well. Logan Wilson, if that's not a dev up season, I don't know what is. Bryson Joseph got a little bit of a taste at starter and did pretty damn well for himself. Picks, yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If Logan Wilson isn't deving up to at least star on this one, I don't really know what you expect from him. I'm going to show the awards just because might actually be a chance that Logan won Defensive Player of the Year, and he did. So, good overall regardless. But please, game, at least give him something for his efforts. Giants versus the Texans. The Giants go back-to-back, and they lose back-to-back. Of course, we don't know who they're going to re-sign, so we'll wait until after that to see the dev-ups of the players that actually are on the roster still. We do take a little bit of a hit. We're an 85 overall now. I don't know what the salary cap situation is like. I would imagine Burrow needed to be re-signed. Overall would drop quite a bit too because Kelce, of course, did retire. No dev up for anyone on offense. Defensively, Wilson does go to star development with those 4 upgrade points. He's probably going to be about an 88 overall. And also Fields with a very big dev up because as a cornerback, it's not easy to get that development trait increase, and he gets it. So superstar corner, you got 1 position locked up there. You have your 2 pass rushers probably for the future, your middle linebacker, your free safety. There's not a whole lot you need to worry about. Just get more of those players, specifically at corner. As you can see, it's not looking too hot here. So first pick in the draft should probably be corner or some sort of offensive lineman. But I still don't think this team is really 7-9, 8-8 bad. I think this team, the division's not that tough. I know it may be in Madden, I suppose, but the division isn't impossibly tough where you can't go 9-7 or 10-6, even if you lose to the best teams in the division. So we just got to see improvement from the roster within. Let's take a look at that draft recap. Here we have pick 11, a high overall middle linebacker who is 23. I know you're supposed to look at the hidden part, but I only see the age because it's devastatingly high considering. But what's the development? Yeah, lots of potential there. Not a bad pick, super fast and all that, but still. And we go too far, and they drafted a 24-year-old corner. But they also drafted another hidden lineman, which is an absolute W, and he can play guard. I think right guard is the best. Excuse me, as I find the nearest tissues. Not that it's going to matter, because this team is apparently doomed unless we're playing against it, and then, in which they will be absolutely legendary status. We leave this team at all 1 year, and they'll become Super Bowl team. But, of course, since we're watching it, GG, good luck to you. I want to put Stenberg at center, because he's not nearly as athletic as the guy that was just drafted. So I think that makes sense. I kind of want to help clean this team up a little bit because there are a lot of backups that are just here when they probably shouldn't. I mean, there's some good value players here you could probably trade. It's just, yeah, that's it. It's just, looking at the team, though, I think you definitely have to start Applewhite at least at right outside linebacker, right? Makes a lot of sense. And really, once again, teams should have went for corner. I don't know if they did in free agency. Didn't really take a look at what they went for there. Did they? Alexander is back, I suppose. That's kind of a win. Didn't really do too much in free agency, but I suppose that also means they probably didn't spend a bunch on terrible players they don't need. You guys probably could have guessed it. What the hell is this? And is that actually better than 8 wins? I had honestly no idea that counted. I always thought it was wins that mattered the most, but then again, I've never seen a team tie more than twice ever. I don't even know if that's ever happened in the same season. So I suppose it kind of counts. What do they count as? A half loss, half win? So I suppose it's 1.5 versus the Browns have a half too. I don't even know, dude. I do not know. But let's take a look at the stats anyways because we have nothing else to do. Joe Burrow lacking on the picks, but also lacking on the touchdowns. So, I mean, take it how you will. Joe Mixon's been absolutely killing it. Maybe we need to Joe mix up the scheme, man. You know what I mean? I don't. Lawson out of nowhere. Arthur Fields, one of the best league's corners. Is that word? Best league's corners. It kind of sounds okay, but it also sounds like I was hit in the head with a hammer and nail. So the Bears actually win 2 Super Bowls, which is quite something. Look at the DevOps, which surprisingly, Joe Mixon has not had another one of. Nothing on offense, defensively. Nothing there either. Applewhite, of course, going to be the starting right outside linebacker. If you keep the key players like Wilson, Applewhite, Bates, Fields, Lawson, Lucas, probably not Reader because he's like 29, 30. He is 30. I mean, the defense only needs a few more pieces. Zach Bond you can keep if you can afford them. And then offensively, you got to keep the main key pieces like Mixon, who's probably about 28. Okay, thankfully he's not that old. 28, Higgins, Barrow. You gotta desperately get Higgins a dev up though. That's one thing you gotta do, Joe. If you have to force it, do it because nothing else is working anyways. Maybe you're in a decent spot if you do all those things, or maybe you're still trash. I don't know. So let's take a look at this draft. I think they should still go for the corners, and they do not. Okay, so Ellsworth. He's a very good player, though, it appears. So maybe not the worst thing in the world. And he's only star, of course. He's only star. But for pick 16, that's a bit of a play. 66 overall, 67 overall. So, yeah, outside of that DT, not super great. But, I mean, I suppose it's better than having no good players at all. Heading to the playoffs, we see another failed season. I will say, though, 8-8's a little shocking as the season started out as 2-5. Are the Bengals just doomed to not make the playoffs? That's the goal. Instead of winning one Super Bowl for Joe, can he even win a playoff game? Hell, can he even see a playoff game? If I'm him, I'm asking for out of here. I will say the team around him isn't actually that bad, so I am a little surprised that they haven't been able to get to at least above 500. Maybe a new kicker would be nice. 66% of your kicks on 21 attempts is not great. Winner of the Super Bowl is the Ravens. Seems like a pretty constant set of teams here. Makes sense. Here's the draft recap. The first pick of the draft, 77 overall free safety, me Lowell. Me, as in like me the person. I don't know if they actually need, if we need a safety. But he could be one hell of a cornerback. And look at, okay, now that is a shocker. Because a wide receiver, 69 overall, hell, wide receiver in the second round to be hidden is shocking enough the way it is, let alone a hidden in a super. Okay, this could actually be a huge turning point for this team. They desperately needed a wide receiver. Probably didn't need the safety too much, but once again, I think number 2 corner could fit well for him, so I think that's might be what we do. They got some guy named Floyd Spillman. Was that a guy that we drafted? Of course, they don't have... They do need a safety. Okay, they got Arnett, actually, so things might actually change around here. I think we're actually going to keep Lowell at strong safety. Headed to the playoffs, will we see any changes? We will not. 7-9. Nice. Joe Burrow, most yards he's had. Touchdowns not by much. Not really that great. Picks, not great either. Jeromepkr in the slot position actually had a really good season. Might even become an X factor, which is insane to even be able to say, but it, very well might happen. Pass rush, very bad stuff. Picks, meh. Kicking, this team needs help. The Houston Texans win a Super Bowl. Free agency week 1. Let's take a look at what the players look like on this team. Joe Burrow could be gone. I don't know the kind of situations here. He is not. McKnight stays superstar. It appears that a lot of wide receivers, not pretty much every one of them, is gone. Applewhite goes up to superstar and a huge dev up for Mr. Lawson. When the hell did Applewhite go up to superstar? It wasn't a breakout. I honestly have no idea when he... Oh, it doesn't matter actually for Lawson. I thought it did, but it didn't. Am I missing something? Did they both go up in dev and we just missed it? I think we might have just forgot, honestly. I don't even know what to tell you, but... Long story short, back to the draft, and maybe at some point a playoff berth? Maybe? All right, let's take a look at this draft class by the Bengals. The first 3 picks look decent. They go defense heavy. They get themselves another Beasley DT. They've had one just like this with Hidden, and I believe just to say with star development, but still a really good pick. Then they have a right outside linebacker with normal, unfortunately. Really good power move. Lots of upside. How old is he? 22. I think you put him at right end. You sit him behind Lawson, learn a little bit, and then at some point he's probably the starter for you. And then the final guy, a cornerback, much needed. Unfortunately, another normal development. That had a lot of potential, and it went down almost instantaneously, like me after seeing your grandma naked. Now, if it was your grandfather, then, that's all I'm saying. Going to the playoffs, we will see. It's finally time. 14-1-1. You've got to be kidding me. Where did this come from? Lost to the Buccaneers, tied with the Browns. Is this the year? Just straight up out of nowhere. God, it's a habit. Joe Burrow, X Factor and bound perhaps. Mixon, maybe an X Factor. Higgins, superstar perhaps. Mooney, I don't know who the hell he is. McKnight, super disappointing. And Njoku, maybe superstar. This was a season for the ages. We have the same scheme as last season as well, which is interesting. Bryson Joseph shouldn't even have started over whoever the hell the DT we got. Yeah, Drayton. It is what it is. Winslow, 9 for 10 for the rookie. Okay, this was a season. We'll take a look at these awards. I mean, this is already the furthest they've been in, 30 years, I would say. Something similar to that. Joe Burrow apparently not the #1 in the league for MVP. Okay. Okay, Browns. I thought that we were the Browns for a second. Joe Burrow, best QB, best running back for Mixon. Number 4 and 5 wide receivers. O-line, 5, 6, 9, and 10. I wanted to say 7 and 8. It's so bad. It's like a mental lapse I almost just had. Zach Bond, who I think is normal, should be star. And then DB and kicker, no. But kicker, not terrible, the youngster. Please, Cincy. You know what? We're actually going to go in and watch these because that is literally 91 overall to their 87. Okay. Let's relax. But this is literally potentially the only time we'll see the Bengals win, make a playoff spot specifically in the divisional round in a long time. I mean, it's taken this long the way it is, so we're coming in and watching this. I don't care what anyone says. Was that Aaron Donald? Please don't tell me that was Aaron Donald that I saw. And, of course, the winner of this game gets to play the 14-2 Patriots. Shocking. They're back on top. What do you know? End of the game. Come on. Cincy. Just one. Just one win. Doesn't even matter if you win at all. Just one win. 9-0. 12-0. Right before half, it's going to be 12-3. And no score right. Oh, that was an opportunity. Touchdown there after the field goal. 25-10. Defense has been locked down. Nice. A win from the Bengals. Could we see it? I don't even think The first video we did, who the hell was it? Oh, yeah, Tua Tagovailoa. God damn it. I don't think he even made the Super Bowl. 2 championship visits, I believe, and that was it. Which still, I mean, that's decent. You know, everyone wants to think, oh, 1 Super Bowl, oh, 2 Super Bowls, that's not that great. It's because the Patriots have put such a winning way together, even though a lot of it, and I know it's always a Patriots bashing party from me, a lot of it was lucky. I'm not even going to go into, you know, cheating. I'm just going to go into luckiness. Offsides by an inch for D Ford. Pick 6 to win the game for well, not pick 6. The Chiefs would have won the game. No Patriots Super Bowl that year. 1 yard line Seahawks. Oh, people want to say, oh, the Seahawks running game wasn't doing that well. Oh, this and that. It's Lynch, man. You run it one time, what happens? They have another down. It wasn't run the ball or pass the ball, final play of the game. They still had time. Okay? At the Falcons, that wasn't the greatest comeback of all time. That was the worst choke of all time. You have the tuck rule. If everything goes the way it should be, and it's not as simple as, oh, maybe if, you know, someone would have caught the ball on a 3rd down instead, this or this would have happened. Very easy to fix situations could have had the Patriots winning at most, what, a ring or 2? And you could give them the Giants wins. Okay, 4 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowls, whatever. Very fortunate. Very fortunate. And ironically, we're playing... I didn't mean it. New England, I didn't mean it. Andrew Luck? How is Stephon Gilmore still here? He's like 36. We'll allow it. Well, you know what? We'll allow it. They can have Andrew Luck. Shouldn't be here for him, but you know what? I also do think in real life there's a chance he does come back. Maybe he wants to join the Patriots winning ways. Huge, you know, situation there. I don't know why he would do that. That's a lot of pressure I wouldn't want to put on myself. But, hey, he wants to join that, you know, legacy. LeBron to the Lakers, you know, things happen, okay? Like I said, I don't think Andrew Luck's done in the NFL by any means, but we'll see. And hopefully we can win this game. I don't want to get too excited here. Joe Burrow has taken his team to the Super Bowl. He has freaking done it. Although he didn't really play too well here. Joe Mixon with a game and a half receiving. Jalen Reagor, Michael Pittman. They got all the guys. They're like, you know what? That draft class, pretty spot-on draft class. We're going to take all those guys. Give it up to Winslow, the kicker. Absolute stud. I don't know what his dev is. I don't know what his overall is, but a find and a half. This man is balling. Let's take an actual look at this guy. See how well he actually is doing. Specialist. No, that's not what we're looking for. Kicker. Winslow, he's a decent overall, 74 overall, 23. He is a rookie. Yeah, he is actually pretty damn good, so good stuff. He does not look 23. I will say he looks like a 34-year-old that has seen some things, but hey, whatever you want to see, I just like seeing the ball go through the uprights and, you know, potentially a Super Bowl win. The freaking 8-8 Falcons, we just talked crap about the Falcons too, so can't wait to lose this one. Clowney to the Falcons. Could see it. I could see it. All right, Joe. Can you do it? Joseph Burrow. Can you do it? It's not looking super great here. The Falcons with the first score of the game, 7-0, 10-0, now 17-7. Okay, things have gotten out of hand. Please, Joe. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. Come on, Bengals. They can do this. They can do this. They are up by 1 with 6 minutes left. It's the Falcons in Super Bowls. Of course they're going to choke. Is that what they do? They probably do, right? They do, and Joe Burrow is the first quarterback, well, first prospect of our career sims that we're following to win a Super Bowl. And ironically, it comes from, you know, just out of nowhere, one playoff berth that they haven't had the entirety of this thing, and hell, haven't had a berth in like, what, 30 years at this point, if you add on these seasons, I believe, at least. And he just wins it all. 14-1-1, gets the Super Bowl win. One hell of a game. Well, not one hell of a game. One hell of a season. Don't really care too much about that crap. Who gives a damn crap? Oh, I did a mistake. I did a big mistake. I should have had that as the thumbnail. Nah, we're not going to do that kind of thumbnail. Joe Burrow, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Very good stuff. Maybe we will do that thumbnail. I don't freaking know, dude. Joe Burrow, rushing, not super great. Really good stuff, though. Mooney, I don't know where he came from. Like, I don't know, you know, what's the situation, what happened there. Good pick. Good player. You know, out of nowhere, just making plays. I like it. How old is Joe Burrow on his first Super Bowl win? X Factor Joe. He's 31. Oh, yeah, I forgot he's actually kind of on the older side. Actually, he should be 32. I don't know if they showed the age upgrade or not. Well, downgrade, I suppose. But yeah, really good stuff. Progression, I don't think he would go down in dev, right? Mix in with an X Factor. I don't know how much that's going to extend his career, but he's a 96 overall X Factor. He's probably got a few more years left in him. Absolute studly stuff. Defensively, Bond did not go in dev up. Really? If you say so. So pick 32. Let's see what this team can do. I know I did it. I didn't really want to. Just kind of happened, but here we are. You know, things happen. All right, draft recap. What did they end up with? Yikes. That is... I mean, okay, in fairness, William Sewell, which is really interesting because 66 overall hidden. Okay. Star development, but it's not even just that. It's the positions. Just not positions of need, really. I mean, look at running back. Look at wide receiver, perhaps, for the future. Kinda, maybe. Not really, actually. Tight end, I suppose, would be a big one. A little bit of a shocking one, decisions-wise. But here we are, I suppose. You know, good decisions there, right? Look at the defensive side of things. I mean, really good players. Just got to start working on the future, man. You got to start thinking of those things. Lawson, he's one of those guys. Where the hell is that pass rusher? Is his name Steffens? I think it is, and he's freaking good. He's ready to go, really. One more season with Lawson, and then after that, it's Steffens' time. It's similar to Miller time, but not disappointing, kind of. I made a joke about it. I'm from Wisconsin. I shouldn't be joking about such a national treasure, apparently. Never had it, so I'm not going to judge. Not really a beer. Like, I had beer, and I wasn't a fan, so I don't know. Maybe I'm a little wimp. But yeah, just give me one of those deadly sodas, man. You drink a soda wrong, it'll mess you up for weeks. 12-4, of course. Oh, God. Joe is really starting to rack up the seasons. Speaking of Joe Mixon just casually one of the greatest running backs of all time. Don't mind. Not even one of the, potentially the greatest of all time. I don't want to do the math here, but I'm going to go slow enough for one of you guys to potentially do the math if you guys are interested. Touchdowns sometimes a little bit lacking, but last 5 years, double digits. I would say greatest of all time right here, right? I mean, that's how many years? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10,000 yards without adding on the extra numbers. So just going off of common sense, he's at least at 12 to 13,000 yards, which averaging about 4.4 yards per carry. That's pretty impressive. Joining a non-playoff team as well, pretty much. That's pretty impressive. Did we show all the stats? I don't remember. No, we didn't. We got lost in the fact that Joe Mixon's an absolute god. Receiving-wise, really good year. I wish McKnight was there, but I suppose Mooney... What dev is he, by the way? He must have went up to star this season. Well, not this season, last season. Don't get to see it. But yeah, he's I don't know where he came from, but he was a good pickup. I don't know if he was a free agent or as a rookie. What's the story there? But really good stuff. Drayton gets his chance to kind of start. Really good things. Zach Bond, though, a really sneaky player himself. Super underappreciated for DevOps, but look at the sack totals, man. He's supposed to be a coverage guy, but he has come up with numbers, really good numbers. He's, a really viable do-it-all type of guy that's just kind of doing things. And they go back to this guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good year, right? I missed the other guy. He was better. He was a beast. MVP Joe, right? I mean, obviously, MVP Joe was coming along. Myles Garrett, 99 overall still. That's disgusting. And, of course, the Patriots have an Offensive Rookie of the Year. Why wouldn't they? There's no reason they wouldn't. Best running back, Mixon, obviously. Mooney at number 5. O-line, we have number 2, number 4. And apparently that's it. Don't care about the rest of the stuff, really, to be honest, unless we win the award, I suppose. Outside of that, don't really care. And we already did have that wild card win. So divisional against the Browns, this is a tough one. And like we expected, we did lose the game, unfortunately. Going to the Super Bowl after winning the Super Bowl, we do lose the Browns in the divisional. At least we made it. Won another playoff game. No drought yet, technically. And the Cardinals are world champions. Interesting stuff. Let's take a look at that team for The Bengals still looking strong, though. Joe Mixon at a 90 overall. Took a little bit of a hit and didn't lose any speed, though, which is kind of surprising. 6 spin moves are brutal, but he's still very viable, still can break tackles, still has great trucking and stiff arm. Human joystick still. Did Burrow drop at all? I don't think he did, right? Not yet. Defensively now, and Njoku's still here too, which is kind of cool. Zach Bond finally goes up in dev, but unfortunately, he's now 81 overall. Sewell is apparently a 76 overall, which is 10 overall upgrades. Interesting stuff. Of course, we're going to have Steffens as the new right end for us, so we can actually release Carl Lawson. I would love to do that. And apparently he's locked in forever. I don't know what kind of contract they signed him, but boy, was it a good one for him. Draft recap. Pick 28, so, ooh, yikers. Yikers Island. Yikes. I'm not going to look at the rest. That was just garbage. Back-to-back trashers, so window's closing fast. I mean, unless they did something to free agency other than lose their own players positively, I don't know what they could have done. This is probably the last time you're going to see a solid-looking roster. Things are going to dramatically get worse. I would imagine how Joe himself could be potentially gone. How good is Wilson, by the way? 29-star. Desperately needs a superstar dev up here. Then again, he probably needed a season go. Might be too late for him. Who the hell is this guy? Oh, it's Julian Aquara. Apparently, Steffens is never going to start. That's awesome. Arnett also went up to star development. I don't know if that was... Yeah, that was actually last season. Don't think that's going to matter too much, but, I mean, it's better to have a dev up than not a dev up, I guess. Better than last season, or last Madden, where you would go down in dev, which kind of actually made sense, but it was... The problem was the system wasn't great, and because they knew the system wasn't great, instead of them, revamping it and actually making it work, they were like, you know what? We'll just turn it off. Who cares? Which, fair enough, I guess. Better than leaving it broken, I suppose. Going to the playoffs... 10-5-1, so 3 straight seasons with playoff aspirations and playoff success. Can we get back to the promised land, though? I don't know. Oh, great. We have a white running back. As a fellow white guy, that doesn't bode well for us at all. Whoever the hell Jarrett Morley is, the number 3 has been killing it on our team, so we should probably move someone up that's better than that. Ellsworth, good season. Drayton kind of drops off a little bit. Bond, basically good for 9 sacks a season. This team is a super multiple style defense, it would appear. Matt Gay, hello. Whatever works. I mean, I'm cool with it. Obviously, we don't really have a horse in the race, but I would like to see a winner, a Super Bowl winner too. Unfortunately, a 7-point loss to the Titans. When you lose in the playoffs, you want to at least make it close. Unlike, some really trash teams like, the Green Bay Packers come to mind. That's obviously, the Niners were really, really good. It's just a Chiefs team. To be fair, no, hold up a minute. The Niners coached themselves out of that Super Bowl. Don't get that twisted. Super Bowl win for the Titans here, which is cool and all. Don't get it twisted. The Niners forgot that they ran the ball really, 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 really well last season. Just in the biggest stage. Nothing big. Just, stop running the ball when it's still working. Maybe not as good as it was previously, but it's still working well. Stop running. Give the Chiefs a Super Bowl. Mahomes playing like one of the greatest of all time. Give him an early Super Bowl win. Why not? Way to go, Shanahan. Looking at DevOps, not really seeing any. Actually, not seeing any at all. You lose the strong safety, so probably the number 1 need for this team. Sewell, I did not expect to ever be, a good player for this team, but apparently the new starting left outside linebacker. Well, let's take a look at that draft recap. They go quarterback. This is very interesting. He is hidden, 72 overall. Okay, so this guy looks good, but do they really need him? Star development. I'm not a huge fan of that pick. They go with a running back here, Brad Kincaid. This almost kind of feels like an A.J. Dillon pick from the Packers almost. Although, in fairness, this team doesn't need a running back. This team needs a running back badly. The other one we're talking about, other team that we never ever bring up in videos, doesn't really. I am curious, though, to see if they're actually willing to get rid of Joe Burrow. I think he might be on a contract either this year or next year. Maybe that's their plan. I don't know. He's played well, but at the same time, taking up a lot of cap space, and they've only won 1 ring. I think you give them more time, though. And I kind of just skipped all the way through. 11-5, so 4 straight years of Super Bowls, playoffs, I believe. Of course, I don't know why you would think I would cheat. I literally do not have a horse in the race. And Joe Burrow, I mean, decent season. Nothing too spectacular. Joe Mixon still just absolutely filth levels. I mean, he's just an absolute beast. Morley, okay. T. Higgins, he's been okay. Kind of on the team a lot longer than you would have thought he was. Almost like you were waiting for that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look at those stats are insane. Those ratings are ridiculous. But kind of seems like you were waiting. Is this the year? Is this the year? Is this the year? And now it's like, holy crap, he's 30. Please be the year. You're kind of running out of time here. Lucas, he's been iffy, but as an X Factor, he's been okay, I guess. I don't know. We've been getting a new kicker every year, which is really interesting. I don't know if that's coded into the game, but I guess maybe it is. But let's take a look. The Colts, the 9-7 Colts, as the home team, get a victory. Now, I will say, after the first year in the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl, great. Great year. Obviously, we won the Super Bowl. Colts do make the Super Bowl here, in fairness. After that, we won a game, lost, and then after that, it's just been one-and-done city. I will say, once again, though, we did play the Super Bowl champions first week, so that's, those things do happen. Looking at the situation, Joe Burrow drops in overall a little bit. However, he is still the starting quarterback and obviously still one hell of a talent, so nothing wrong there. Joe Mixon, however, either gone through free agency or the most likely thing, I don't know why I said most, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. The most likely thing is that he probably did retire. 34, 35 years old, whatever it was. An absolute legend. Speaking of absolute legends, Applewhite at 30 is now an X Factor, which is interesting timing. I mean, hey, I'll take it. Zach Bond, if we can get rid of him, would be great. This team is still good. It's an 89 overall team. I don't know what they're going to do in free agency. Hopefully add some sort of receiving talent because Higgins is on that last leg. But hey, it's still Super Bowl worthy. All right, take another look at the draft, which involves 2 70-plus overalls. Okay, I can get on board. Hey, Angel Hennings, the new probable strong safety for this team. I would assume they're going to play in there, so I'll just... Hopefully that's the right decision. Star development, nothing special, but hey, a new starter for the team. And another hidden player. Is this guy a pass rusher? He is not. He's a coverage guy. I suppose it's better time than any. Leno is also star, but hey, 2 starting players, that's huge. Now, I will say this team probably needs a draft. Okay, this guy probably doesn't have a huge amount of potential, but it's another hitting guy, I suppose. I don't really know what you can do with him since he is only a 62 overall, but I suppose put him at the number 4 spot. Maybe he learns something. I don't know, maybe a future in the next 2 or 3. Heads to the playoffs. Are we going to continue the streak, which is ironic coming from the Bengals, who had a... No, we will not. Who had a streak of missing the playoffs. We lose that streak of making the postseason. Not a bad season at all from Barrow, but it appears the run game was just too bad. McKnight, maybe an X Factor. T. Higgins, not a bad season. But you could see the talent around Joe has definitely taken a bit of a step back into the tight end position. I believe is a 68 overall. Aquara with a really nice season there, but 12 years in the league, basically going into his 13th. Probably not going to be able to do much with a potential dev up, but I don't know. Maybe this team will actually do something to free agency. I don't know. Maybe the Joe Burrow is gone soon. Do they actually? Let's take a look if they re-signed him. First things first, he could retire. You never know. So we're going to go on and see if he is still around for his 35th, 36th birthday. He is. He's an 89 overall, so 35 years old. He is coming to an end here soon. This team desperately needs to get some talent. McKnight is an X Factor, but he is also a 28-year-old, so they need to get someone new. Perfect timing, better than ever, because... you have a 21, 22-year-old with a 28-year-old. So once McKnight's gone, then that other guy that you've been sitting at number 2, he'll be a 28-year-old. So you're basically just constantly fixing that. Howell's still on the team. Singer, which I believe, I don't know if that's a real player or not. That's the same name from a dude from Supernatural, I believe. If you ever watched that show. What else do we have? Fields is an X Factor now, I believe. He's 32. Jesus, old man. Could you not? Of course, Daniels, not a bad overall, 73 overall. Hennings, 80 overall. So, obviously, the ages are starting to get there. Maybe Leno starts next season over Wilson. Depends on what they do with him. If they think no, we aren't on the re-sign. We should have actually looked at that first because we might actually lose someone here. Oh, we lost a lot, I think. Our overall is 86. And unless he retired, which I don't know if he did or not, regardless, Joe Burrow's gone. Let's take a look. Is he gone, or is he a free agent? Let's take a look. I don't think he would have retired, though, right? Well, 35-year-old, end of the career team change, which is interesting. Patton, would be nice to see what he does, but that's not the point of today's video. Here's some of the other quarterbacks around the league. Bowman, Murray, Herbert's a 33-year-old Lion. He's 92 overall. Anyone else? Artie Henry, we've seen him play against this team before. The Buccaneers. Is that not the same team that took, what's his name? I'm pretty sure the Buccaneers took Tua as well, which is interesting. But here we go. Let's take a look at the Buccaneers. Let's follow them now. What overall were the Bengals, actually? So he joins a Bucs team that is a 81 overall, which is a meh. And the Bengals were an 87. You made a poor decision, Joe, even if it, maybe not even his decision at all, but we'll see. Let's go. All right, draft recap. The new team takes a wide receiver at pick number 3. That's an interesting one. Kirkland Foster, 21 years old, 6'6". Not a bad draft pick. Only star, but, primed to be probably their top 2 receiver. They go with another guy, so that kind of begs the question of what the receiving position is around here. They take a safety, which, I don't know, the Buccaneers over the past years in real life have had some safety issues, so maybe that's the same here. Maybe they never solved them. I don't know. But let's take a look at that team. 83 overall now. Let's take a look at their weapons, which consist of not a singular soul. Michael Pittman, 34 years old. Cool, dude. Brazel, I don't know why he's not starting. Hey, he's a hell of a fullback, but that's kind of not the point. Yeah, Burrow made a terrible decision coming here. Harrington, young guard. And then Gilbert, a young guard. 2 25-year-old superstar guards. Not bad at all, but yeah, that's quite interesting. Devin White at 33 is a 90 overall. Oh, my Lord. Antoine Winfield Jr., 33 years old, superstar, X Factor, worthy, 31 years old, superstar, so he's about to regress hard. Hey, man, not a bad overall. Yeah, this is not looking good. I don't know. I mean, Joe's definitely not making another Super Bowl, but I just want to know how much longer he's going to play, though. And shocker, the Buccaneers go 6-9-1. I don't know whether, their season before that wasn't that bad. Joe Burrow is decent, but what can you really do about that? Yeah, nothing really to note here other than Joe Burrow and his agent made a terrible decision, unless they were offered like 40 per year. All right, re-sign period. Let's see if Joe is still around, and honestly, for the sake of my sanity, I kind of hope he's not. Please tell me. Please, Joe. Please tell me you retired. It's probably a one-year deal and he's on a new team, but please, Joe. Joe, hear me out. Please be retired. Please, dude. Dude. Seen a couple of guys from this class retired, but it appears he is not one of them. They got another 90 overall X Factor. It must be really easy to get QBs these days. Joe Burrow is a Titan, so we move on to the Titans. Remember those guys? Remember the Titans. We're looking at the draft recap. Yikes. Pick 31 in fairness. Oh, Jimmy Hale. Who is this guy? Interesting. Let's take a look at his dev. Probably star. Usually these low overall guys are star. And that he is. Wide receiver Bishop. Yeah, it's about expected. So they were the second best team in the league. Lost their QB and are hoping that Joe Burrow is the answer to their prayers. Okay, I can see it, I suppose. All right, Joe might have actually stepped into an okay position, and he kind of does. The division's not hard to win. They go 8-8, and Joe does put up a very good season. Don't know who the hell that guy is. Receiving was okay. Let's take a look at where he ranked on the list. He goes from AFC to NFC to back to the AFC. And Patrick Queen, okay. Joe Burrow at number 3, interesting. The winner of that is, of course, the Ravens, who have had mass amounts of success in this video. Going on to the Bears versus the Dolphins. The winner of this is the Dolphins. The Bears almost had 3 Super Bowl wins in this time span. Is Joe still here? Please tell me he retired. Typically, a team has a backup when they're planning to let their guy go. So maybe, please tell me you're gone, because you're just making terrible decisions. You're ruining your damn legacy here. I don't see him. Josh Allen retires. I would say he's got at least another year left in him, though. I think he's still around, so we'll see. All right, where's me Joe? Hello, Joe. We've been chasing this man, Jalen Hurts, 35-year-old Titan. Where is the Joe Stiff? Joe Stiff? The Colts. Are they even starting? 37-year-old Joe Burrow is the starter for the Colts, so let's move on to the new team. This is actually kind of fun, even though it's, this video has been as long as a rebuild. It's still fun. I'm having so much fun. Looking at their draft I guess he is 37. But Duke Clayton, cool name, lots of potential, kind of a fun-looking player. Their first pick of the draft at pick number 12. Looking at the rest of the picks, just basing off the first glance of no hidden. Oh, there's one. Luis Madsen. Very raw player and most likely star, right? Oh, super. Okay, so they got some talent there. Probably shouldn't really care too much about that because, once again, it's this late into this series, this video. It's unlikely for the Colts to even make the playoffs, let alone win a Super Bowl. But we'll see, I suppose. We'll see. Of course, Joe, this is probably Joe's last season, right? What, a 77 overall? I'm surprised he even found a starting team. Although I did see a lot of the overalls. It looked like there was maybe 10 to 15 solid starters, and the rest were kind of bottom-feeding teams. So Joe could slip one more year in. We'll see. And, of course, they missed the playoffs. We'll still take a look at Joe's numbers. 4104, 32 touchdowns. I mean, he's still doing well. He had a pretty damn solid career. Nothing insanely spectacular, but above average QB numbers. He's got himself a Super Bowl title, potentially, probably a Hall of Famer, I would say, right? Most likely a Hall of Famer. But the most important question is he done? Is he still got more in him or not? Let's find out. And he might still be in. He might still be in the league. What is he going to be, 39? There's no way he finds a starting job. There's no way. I don't see him, though. Wait, did I miss him? Kyler Murray, Herbert, Tua. I don't see him. Did he just not get signed? What's the story? Let's find out. Did he retire? Where is he? And Joe Burrow is a free agent. Let's take a look. And let's see if he actually gets signed after the preseason, which I'd say he probably will. But whether he is or not, I think that's where we're going to end it. I do want to see him actually retire, but we're not going to look at any more stats because, there literally won't be any for him. And he was signed. Let's find out where. And is there any chance he's a starter there? Probably not, right? Maybe. Is he actually gone? Like, was it a situation where he just literally couldn't find it? Well, let's actually just look by age, just simply put. Yeah, he's gone. He just retired. Nobody signed him, and he hit free agency. So that's the story of Joe Burrow. It doesn't show him, though. Like, where is he? I don't even know. But Joe Burrow is gone, 38 years old. He retires with a pretty good career. Kind of a disappointing end there. But, he does retire with a Super Bowl win, a pretty damn good statistical career as well, and probably a trip to the NFL Hall of Fame. So that is going to be our career sim of Joe Burrow. What do you want to see next? I think Herbert's pretty high on my list. Maybe Isaiah Simmons. Let me know. Maybe some sort of pass rusher. I'm trying to think. Chase Young, maybe? Right? Chase Young could be next. Chase or Herbert probably next. But let me know in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions for a series idea at all, in general, let me know in the comment section as well. And tomorrow will be a rebuild. I think today's video might just be this because this did take me a long time and it's basically a rebuild on its own. Don't know what the rebuild tomorrow is going to be, but we'll figure it out when we figure it out. Anyways, if you did like this, maybe leave a like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. Maybe check out the second channel, PKR Plays. Follow me on Twitch at Jeromepkr. Basically, like I said, everything is Jeromepkr except for the second channel, which is PKR Plays. Regardless, thanks for watching. Hopefully you come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!